Bonjour, bonsoir, whatever time it is where you are, darling. Today, I'm Iman Grace, and welcome to my channel. This vlogging thing is way harder than people make it look. But anyways, I'm gonna go read a book. I just had to read a couple parts of this for y'all. Okay, so this is There is a River by Vincent Harding. Chapter 2, American Bondage, American Freedom. Skipping to the second page in this chapter. Since the Europeans had brought the laws of their church and states with them, they could decimate the others legally and morally in apparent quietness and righteousness of conscience. The Euro-American search for peace by means of legal genocide had begun. This was right after he noted the different massacres of Native Americans. And then he carries on to say that the next were the children of Africa. So for better or worse, it developed a concurrently with the campaign of to possess the bodies and spirits of children of Africa, and neither the search nor the campaign has yet ended. Interesting. Okay, then he carries on to say all the different types of boats or ships that brought our ancestors here. And so, carrying on, by the tens, the hundreds, then the thousands, we walked onto the new shores and wept by the new rivers, forced by the men and the systems of Europe into a new history, a history to be shared in relentless struggle with them, a history we never wanted. Ain't that something? This book is so good. Okay, boom. Then this is the same chapter I just left off telling y'all about a couple pages later. Then, besides setting up legal barriers against the entry of Black people as self-determining participants into the developing American society, the laws struck another cruel blow of a different kind. They outlawed many rituals connected with African religious practices, including dancing and the use of drums. In many places, they also banned African languages. Thus, they attempted to shut Black people out from both cultures to make them wholly dependent nurturers. I think nurturers, because like neutral, because it's not nurturers. Not at all. Finally, because the religious and legal systems were so closely intertwined, everywhere in the colonies, a crucial legislative decision declared that Africans' conversion to Christianity did not affect their enslavement. Some whites had expressed scruples. Okay, I'm gonna stop reading this now, but that was interesting. And now he finna get into Christianity and stuff. But something I wanted to point out, it just reminded me of something that's going on today. The Uyghur Muslims that are being persecuted in China. If you don't know about it, get into it. Not like in a good way, but educate yourself, because those people are being persecuted. They can't speak their languages. They can't practice their practices. China's coming for them. And it's not even just because of them being Muslim, and it also is deeply rooted into their economy and the Belt and Road Initiative. So if you don't know about it, learn about it. I'll link a podcast about it in the description below, so you can educate yourself about the current problems in our world that relate back to old America. And it's pretty crazy because just had another realization. Back then, it was primarily because of finances as well. People try to say, oh, the Civil War was just about economics. Yeah, your economics that came from slavery, dumbos. Like, are people really that slow? They are, because I got in many debates with people that tried to argue that. And then they came to their senses later on. God bless them. They needed help and prayers. But, you know, people are crazy. This part right here, right? Okay. Thus, the planters and commercial leadership, especially in the South, were free to bring in even larger numbers of Africans to increase their own profits and status, and to share some minor part of these benefits with their white laboring group. Not slaves, white laboring group, okay? Knowing that the dangers of black and white solidarity at the bottom of society were decreased as poorer whites were legally and socially defined in a distinctively favorable status relative to Africans, and as Africans were forced to become the slaves and the subalterns of the entire society. I don't know what subalterns mean, but my point of reading that was, this is just the foundations of white privilege. And it's so hilarious to me how these like poorer white people try to say like they're not privileged, but it's like right here, there were white people working with the slaves, but they made them feel as if they were of more value in comparison to the slaves, even though they were on the same level, because they knew what they were doing. They knew they didn't want black and white solidarity to happen because they were both in the lower levels of society, but they still made the white people feel as if they were a little bit higher. Somehow they made them feel like that. So, well, if those are your ancestors and your family lineage is still not rich or anything of that sort, you still are privileged to some extent, because your ancestors more than likely felt as if they were more value. Period, point blank. Ain't no questions about it.